welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another unboxing and review video. As you can see here, it says Gilbert house pens, handmade in Cambridge, and that's in the UK. This is a pen that I saw at the London Pen Show in March this year, and I saw a photo of this pen prior to the show. I think it was a couple of days, maybe more, before the show, and I actually thought that out of all of these pens, this was probably one of the pens that I might have to end up buying at the show. So I did get to see Brad early on, just before the show doors were opening. Obviously I do video the show, so I do get in a little bit more earlier so I can try and rush around and video what I can. And I was talking to Brad, and he said, look, I've got the two pens that you wanted and this pen. So here is the pen. If I lift the lid, you get a little bit of packaging in here. You get the pen, and then you also get a Gilbert House pen sticker here, and you also get Brad's business card, Gilbert House pens, Brad Harrington, his mobile number. If you're calling from outside the UK, add 44 to this, remove the 0, and the website there is gilberthousepens.co.uk. So we'll just put all of this back together again, and I will show you the pen and show you why I had to buy this pen at the pen show. And let's remove it from the sleeve. It is a box Elder Burl, and you'll see here it has a really striking sort of grey and black material. I really love how this pen turned out. It's a beautiful pen. Now, Brad, like a lot of custom pen makers, will get this in a sort of rectangular sort of block of wood and resin pre-mixed. Sometimes they have to treat this, sometimes they don't need to, and then they just turn it on a lathe and then polish it as well. This is a flat top pen here that you can see, and likewise the end cap is flat as well. There's a slight taper into the cap finial here. It tapers out slightly. There is a bit of a step down here that you can see, and then the body is fairly cylindrical. It does taper in slightly to that end cap, but just look at this pen. This is a beautiful resin. I like grey. I don't think I ever really liked grey as a colour, but as I write more and more with fountain pens, I'm not into black ink, but I do write with a lot of grey, and as you know, I do write with a lot of Diamine Earl Grey. And I did fight very heavily to not ink this up with Diamine Earl Grey, because every fibre of my being was saying, ink this up with Diamine Earl Grey. But I have another, quite a few pens inked up with Diamine Earl Grey, so I figured I needed to put a different grey ink in here. So I did, and but this is a beautiful pen. If I unscrew that cap, you'll see that that resin colour transforms onto the section. The nib there is a little bit inky. Let me just wipe that off a little bit. And this has a broad steel nib. It is a Yovo nib, and this is a nice nib. If I unscrew the body here, you'll see a standard international converter. So standard international converter holds about 0.6, 0.7 milliliters of ink. A decent amount of ink, although some people prefer maybe a Twisby converter. But I find a standard international converter is good enough for me. I do actually have, let me see if I can get it at it. I do have a lot of these Penida pen fillers. So this one I have inked up with Diamine Ochre. So I have those available, and I will ink if I need to re-ink on the go, I will take some of those with me. But more lately, I've not been needed to re-ink because I normally will pack maybe half a dozen pens if I'm writing letters. So I don't typically have the need so much to re-ink the pens in a single session. But this pen is really gorgeous. I really like the colouring here between the grey, the white, the black, and obviously the box Elder Burl. This really is a stunning material. So I hope you can see why I picked this up at the London Pen Show. I did say to Brad at the time that I was tempted just to wait until the end of the show and see if it was purchased. But as Brad said to me, I think this is going to go quite quickly, and FOMO, fear of missing out. I said, yeah, I think you're right. And he said, do you really want to wait until the end of the show? And I was like, no, let's just add that to my shopping cart and I will take the pen. So I'm glad I took this pen. Now, I think with that, let's do a side check. We'll do a weight check. We'll do a pen comparison, and we'll do a writing sample. So the full length of the pen, we are looking at about 148 millimeters in length. The length of the cap, we're looking about 62 millimeters in length. And if I unscrew the cap, we'll do a size check on the body. We are looking to the tip of the nib or tip of the tines, looking about 138 millimeters in length. So this is a decent sized pen. You can see that there in my hand. You can't post the cap, but you don't need to. If you're holding it on the section, it's a really, really good length. If you're holding the pen on the threads, it's still a decent sized length. So this, for me, is a really beautiful pen. I'm going to love this being inked up. Typically, a brown wood pen, I would have put a brown ink in, but this just screamed for a grey ink. And I'm going to have to remember exactly what the name of this ink is because it's not an ink that I normally use. So I think with that, let's do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Pelikan M800 Royal Gold Ardent, a Pelikan M1000 Ardent Starlight, a Pelikan M1000 Ardent Sunlight. We have a Cypress Maquis Goldfish, a Cypress Maquis Dragon. We have the Gilbert House pens, and this is the grey box Elder Burl. We have a Ryan Crusack Legend 16 in the Dragon Slayer, a Ryan Crusack Legend 16 in the Koi. We have a Tweeko Seishu Dragon in red and a Tweeko Seishu Dragon in green. So I think with that, let's now go and do a writing sample. So this is the Gilbert House pens, and it's the grey box Elder Burl. Quite a long name. It's got a broad, it's got a steel Yovo nib on this one. Now the ink in here, I did say I'm going to have to try and remember. It is the Mont Blanc Heritage Spider Metamorphosis Web Grey, which I think this must be the first time I have had an ink name that is longer than the pen name. Now, in terms of line variation, definitely we're getting what I would say is a broad Yovo nib. If I push that a little bit more, I can get a little bit more out of that nib, but not a huge amount, but it's a steel nib. So I wouldn't be expecting to get much more out of that nib. And if I do more vertical lines, there's no hard starts or skips to that nib. So very well tuned nib. In terms of ink wetness, let's take a look. You can see it's got a little bit of a sort of like a purplish grey to that, but it's a very watery ink. This is a limited edition ink from Mont Blanc. So what do I like? What do I not like about this pen? Well, if I can stop it rolling, I might have to just hold it there. There you go. What do I like? What do I not like about this pen? Well, I love that it's a Gilbert House pens. I like that Brad made this pen. I am liking wood hybrid pens more, and this is certainly that. The grey material on this boxed elder Burl wood is just stunning. When I saw this in the photo ahead of the London Pen Show, I just thought, if there was one other pen that I wanted in this batch of, I think it was about a dozen or more pens, this would have been the pen. And I'm glad that he still had it there available on the morning of the pen show. So I decided I would buy this pen, give Brad the money, and bring it home with me. So I'm very glad that I was able to do that. There's nothing I dislike about this pen. I think the material is spot on. The workmanship, the turning, the polishing of this pen as well is spot on. So I'd like to thank Brad from Gilbert House Pens for making this pen. It's a really beautiful pen, and very glad that I've added this to my collection. So there you have it. That's the unboxing and review of the Gilbert House Pens Grey Box Elder Burl with a broad steel nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.